Hi guys, I'm Sam and I just want to talk to you about how you can prepare yourself for a home birth. The first thing that I would really recommend is getting informed as much as you possibly can, whether it be through watching videos like this, watching actual birthing videos on YouTube, or reading books or talking to people that have had a home birth. Some books that I really recommend that I read that I thought were wonderful. One book is Birthing from Within by Pam England. And the great thing about this is it's written by a midwife who's also a psychologist as well. So she goes actually through like pain management, art therapy, preparing your mind for birthing and whatnot. Another one that I recommend is the Hypnobirthing book. And I read this one probably 5 or 6 times. This one is great. It talks about positive thinking, relaxation, visualization, things like that. Another book that I really loved, it was like my favorite book that I ever read about this, is Ina May's Guide to Childbirth. Again, I probably read this like 10 times. What I really loved about this is it had women's actual experiences with birth. And then the last book that I want to talk about, so I read all these books, I watched videos, and I was like, you know what, I just want someone to tell me this is what you need to do, like guidelines, and I like to listen to things. So what I did the Hypnobabies home study course, and it's great. This has a workbook and it's broken up into sections, and it kind of gives you like a guideline of what to do, kind of prepare yourself. They also had this like quick reference booklet, which is really great. What I really loved about this is they have CDs that you can listen to. Another one of the tracks that I really liked was every morning on my way to work and on my way home from work, I would listen to the positive affirmations. Really, the first time I listened to it, I was like, I cannot listen to this every day. This is ridiculous. Like, it's like 40 minutes of this. So I kind of felt ridiculous listening to it. But after I just continued listening to it like every day, I kind of memorized these affirmations, and it made me feel so much better. Another thing about Hypnobabies, just like Hypnobirthing, they talk about the power of words. So instead of saying like a contraction, they'll say a surge or a wave. And I think that just changing the words makes your mind change what it thinks about that word. So if I was like, oh my, contraction, a contraction, a contraction, you think of like something that's so terrible and it hurts. But when I'm like, okay, I'm having a wave, I would literally visualize like a wave like going in and out, and that really helped with pain management, I would say. Another thing about getting informed is setting up a plan B. Because something may happen, you may have to get transferred to the hospital. Luckily, where we live, we're about like 5-6 minutes from a hospital, so I really wasn't worried if something did happen. Literally, we could just get in the car and drive there, and it would be faster than just calling an ambulance. Another thing that you really want to do is finding a midwife that you love. So I interviewed a couple people, and the midwife that I chose, I loved her. We clicked instantly. I had like a list of literally like 60 questions that I wanted to ask the midwife, because I didn't know. So when I got there, I sat down and we kind of chatted, just a little small talk and whatnot, and she kind of started giving me her spiel about, you know, what she believed, and I'm literally like looking at my list of like 50 something questions, and she's literally answering every single question that I have. Maybe I asked her like 2 questions, which made me feel so much better. When I found my midwife, originally I was thinking that I wanted to do a hospital birth because that's what everyone I knew was doing. You know, that's the normal thing in the United States, and So I wasn't really thinking about home birth as an option. So after I kind of decided, like, you know, this is my midwife, this is who I want to kind of direct me and help me with my birthing experience, she kind of was like, well, I just want to let you know I only do home births. I was like, what? Obviously I didn't say this out loud, but in my head I'm like, oh my gosh, what do you mean home birth? Like, what does that even look like? I don't think I could do that. Would my husband even be okay with that? So I took it in consideration. I'm like, you know what? I really, really like her. She just has such a calming spirit about her, and she's just such a positive person. And so I went home and I told my husband, I was like, listen, I love this midwife. I think she's a person that I really, really would like to be like a partner in this experience. But she only does home births. And he just kind of looked at me and was like, okay, yeah, sure, let's do it. I was like, oh my gosh, really? Okay, all right, so we're doing a home birth. So finding a midwife is that you really get along with is such an important part of this whole thing. Another thing to prepare yourself for a home birth is to find a doula. So I had no idea what a doula is. I'd never heard of them. You know, I occasionally would see like the doula word pop up in different blogs and things, but I didn't really know what they were there for. So a doula is somebody that helps you through your birthing experience that isn't like a medical professional. So she's not gonna like help you give birth, like, you know, help catch the baby or anything. But what she does is make sure you're getting something to eat, making sure that you're drinking, making sure that you're relaxing, helping you get comfortable or putting yourself in different positions, because honestly when you're going through the whole birthing experience, my brain was like all over the place. I interviewed one doula before her, and not that there was anything wrong with that other doula. The doula that I picked just happened to work with my midwife, and she was training to become a midwife. So I thought it was great that they kind of knew each other, and since I loved my midwife, I was like, you know what, yeah, let's just go with her. That would be great. The fourth thing to prepare yourself for a home birth is kind of preparing your body and your mind. So preparing your mind would be things like using like the Hypnobabies, and so things like visualization and listening to the tracks and meditation. I literally would take a bath every single night and listen to my Hypnobabies tracks just to calm myself and really train my mind for what was going to come, even though I had no idea what was going to come. Preparing your body, you know, you want to eat well, and I know it's hard to eat well because you kind of feel like, you know what, I just am going to eat what I feel like eating. I didn't really have cravings, not like a craving like, oh, all I want to eat is like oranges or pickles or something like that. Like each day was kind of different. So you know, one day I was like, you know, I just want to eat a whole jar of pickles, and I literally did. But the next day I was like, oh, I don't want to eat a pickle, like I want to eat you know, something else. But you know, you don't want to be eating like cookies and cakes and candies and things like that. You know, that's not going to help the baby's development at all. And it's not going to help you. You're not going to feel good. The funny thing is, like, I ate well and I still gained like 45 pounds or something like that. So your body's going to gain the weight that it needs to if you're eating healthy. You know, if you're eating like crap, then, you know, you're going to feel like crap. Another thing is exercise, which is another really hard thing to do. So I would go to the gym, and I didn't do anything like crazy. I wasn't like doing kickboxing or anything like that, which there's nothing wrong with that if you do that. What my midwife recommended was, you know, do the things that you were already doing before you got pregnant, because that's what your body is accustomed to. So I would go to the gym and I would walk a lot. I would go on the bike. I did lift some like light weights. Number 5 is probably like one of the hardest things to prepare for, is just coming up with responses to other people's reactions when you tell them that you're having a home birth. So the great thing is most of my family and my husband's family were very supportive, but I think in the beginning they were a little weary just because this is not like a normal thing that people do. My mother-in-law is a nurse, so she was kind of freaked out a little bit in the beginning about the whole idea of having a home birth, because you're not like hooked up to anything, and you know you're not having all these doctors and nurses checking you all the time. So she was a little weary about it, and also my sister is also a nurse, so she was kind of like, you're crazy, I don't know why you're doing that, you know, why can't you just do it at a hospital? But then after a while I kind of told them that, you know, this is something that I really want to do. I didn't want to be hooked up to things. I wanted to be able to eat what I want and drink what I want, because you know, this whole experience is kind of like a long marathon, and if you're not going to let me drink something in like 20 hours, I'm not going to be able to push a baby out. Also, where I work, sometimes I wouldn't tell people that I was having a home birth. I thought, you know what, it's not worth my time with some people to get into it. You know, they can find out after I had that experience, or after I gave birth, and maybe they would take it a little bit better. So with some people, I kind of knew that their reactions would be a little negative. I didn't want it to affect how my mind was, if that makes sense. I guess I didn't want to have a negative impression about it because someone else had a negative impression about it, and they were kind of judging me a little bit for it. So number 6 is getting all your supplies together. The great thing with my midwife, she kind of gave me like a kit. So it had like sheets I could, like those plastic sheets you can put on the bed, and like some of those little like pads. And there was various other things in there that she gave me. But some other things that I really liked was it was this mouth spray, and it was called Rescue Remedy. And basically what that does is it helps calm you down. And I really didn't use that per se for the birth because I kind of forgot about it. But I used that like in my beginning stages of labor, just to help calm myself. I think I was getting like too excited, like something was gonna happen like right away. So that really helped. Also, like arnica cream was really great after I gave birth because my back was so sore. My midwife like gave me a little back massage with that, and that was really great. That's like a natural pain reliever. Maybe I'll make a video about like what I had on the day of my home birth. And number 7 is getting a lactation consultant. Now, obviously this is for people that are really interested in breastfeeding. I feel like a lot of people that are interested in home birth are more likely to be inclined to want to breastfeed. I did not set up an appointment with like a lactation consultant. I didn't really talk to a lactation consultant before I gave birth, but on like day 2 or 3, I was literally like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. Like nobody told me like what this was gonna look like. I don't know what I'm doing. You know, it was painful because the baby's trying to latch on, and you know, you have to think they're trying to get used to something that they have never done either. So a lactation consultant was literally like my savior of breastfeeding. And my daughter is 13 months and we're still breastfeeding, and I think if I didn't have one and have that wonderful resource and guidance, I wouldn't be doing it today. I think I would have given up on like day 4. So I really hope that these 7 kind of bullet points were helpful to you if you are considering a home birth, or if you have already decided that you're going to have a home birth. There's just so many things to think about and prepare, and I hope that this video just gave you a little more confidence and gives you a little bit more of a plan on kind of steps on what to do to prepare for your birthing experience.